Hi, you guys. Welcome. I am here live with my dear friend, Cody Neville.
Hello.
And Cody and I have known each other for 17 years since you were probably, a sophomore or junior in high school?
I think a junior.
Junior in high school?
Junior, yeah.
And so we've known each other a long time.
Just a little while.
Since before I got married, since before I've had kids and all that jazz. It's so fun. And so we are wanting to get on here today, but I'm going to let him introduce himself and then we'll roll into this.
All right. So my name is Cody. I have been very fortunate to know Shammy for so long. We met actually through Shammy's brother, Cody, as well.
Also Cody.
And it was like we were friends from the first moment we talked to each other.
Yeah.
So it's been wonderful.
Really
yeah, it was really easy.
Yeah.
Like, really good to go. Did a lot of movie nights. We hung out a lot.
Moulin Rouge.
We love Moulin Rouge. I have 2 copies just in case one ever burns out, just so we are clear.
We would reenact a lot of the songs.
And sing to our heart's content.
Yes.
We really would.
Yes.
So anyway, that's me. I now work in small business management, which I really love. And what else about me? I'm married to a wonderful man. His name is Drew Murphy. I don't know if he's listening or not. Probably not, but anyway.
I should have tagged him.
Yeah, you should have tagged him. I love outdoors, love hiking. Just got back from Bryce Canyon.
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
Went hiked in the hoodoos down there. It was
That's
amazing. Awesome. So yeah, it's a little bit about me. Excited to be here today.
I am so excited to introduce Cody because he is a gay man living here in Utah. He is married. He served a mission for our church. And I just feel like this is something that is such a hot topic, but is something that is so necessary to understand kind of more about it. Because as I told Cody a minute ago, I feel like we fear what we don't know. And when we don't understand or can't relate to something, we tend to fear it. And so as Cody was a teenager, I actually was pretty confident that he was gay.
As was everybody. Except for me. Oh, Jesus.
So when did you find out? When did that start? When did you start experiencing those thoughts or feelings or desires or?
That's a really hard question to answer. That's like telling somebody, when was the first time you realized you love ice cream? You know, it's like, well, I always did. And so I started to really notice things around the age of 13-ish. Started noticing that at first it was more like I just would notice the male body and I had this affinity towards it.
Like being attracted to was it necessarily like, did you ever have crushes on boys or like, were you more prone to say, oh, he's cute versus she's cute?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily, it was more like, nowadays people talk about being gay more and it's more prominent.
Yeah.
Back then when people discussed someone being gay, it was, oh, they're different.
Yeah.
And I had friends that people knew were gay and they're like, oh, they're different. No one used the word gay. So I just thought I was different. I had an affinity towards, the only thing I remember like actually a true attraction was, when boys are in their first year of high school and going to gym class, like I was really all about weightlifting because I had grown up and I'd gained a lot of weight.
If you can't tell.
I do like the gym.
Yeah.
But I had gained a lot of weight previous to my first year of high school because I had got diagnosed with asthma and took a lot of anabolic steroids. And so I gained about 40 pounds and I gained a lot of weight.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I do. It was horrible. But then in order to lose that, I really fell in love with the gym. I fell in love with being healthy. Lately, I fell in love with ice cream. You can tell my cheeks are a little bigger. But I definitely love the gym. And so I remember being in gym class and looking at these other men who were working out. And I lost a lot of weight. I got quite fit, actually. And I remember looking at other guys in gym class being like, yep, I love that. Yep, I love that. But at that point, it registered, I want that for me. I want my body to look like that.
Yeah,
I want that body. I want that body. And in my head, I was thinking just because I wanted it, because I wanted to look good. And then as time went on, it was like, no, I really want that. Not just for my body, but because it was nice. So anyways.
Yeah, no, I get it. So as a friend, and I've asked you this before, and I'm asking you again just because I feel like maybe you've had time to think of it. Maybe you have an answer, and maybe there isn't an answer. But for those of us maybe where we know or suspect or are involved in youth life where we do suspect that, is there something we can do or say or ask in a comfortable way to address that with them?
Very good question. I think that really depends on the person, how you will approach it. Some people are very, personal, and they want to have everything kept to themselves. But I think the biggest thing is, actually there's two things. Number one, just let them know that you love them
no matter what. Right?
Yeah. This applies to everything, in addition to, you suspect they may have the same gender attraction. But no matter what it is, if they're struggling, not just with this issue, but let's say they have a affinity towards alcohol or doing drugs or whatever it is, as long as long as they know you love them, no matter what the problem is, they will know that they can come to and they can trust you. So that's number one, when it comes to, really wondering what's going on. And then two, don't say things around them that give you away. And when I say that, I mean, don't say things like, oh, well, Becky's son is gay, and I can't believe that she has to go through that. Because then the child will know, I can't come out to mom and dad.
Don't you think that creates shame?
It does create shame, and it creates an environment where,
even
if they're not gay or lesbian, whatever it is, they also know if there's another issue that they can't come to you because you're judgmental and that you look down upon those individuals. So it kind of goes hand in hand with just letting everybody know that you love them no matter what. Of course, you don't let them know that no matter what they do is okay, because that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Let them know that you love them and that no matter what challenge arises, you're there for them and you can always get through anything. I think that matters a lot.
Oh, I think that's huge. And I keep, now that you say that, I keep rolling through my head of what have I maybe said in front of my kids, because that could be so easily a place where kids do worry, like, oh, well, then I can't tell mom and dad this or that. And even though it may not have anything to do with the other,
yep.
That's a good point. I appreciate you mentioning that. So you grew up, we are members of the same church. Do you, you still go sometimes?
I go for like family events, like baby blessings, baptisms, the big family events. I'd still go. Yes.
He served a mission for our church. So because I know you actually have good, positive, mostly feelings about the church and the gospel. How do you think that has affected and shaped your life now?
It's just funny you actually asked that. I just had a friend made a post today that was kind of on the same topic. And as a gay individual or someone who leaves the church at all, you essentially have to decide, well, what's my story? What's my boundary? What's my moral compass? Because the church taught me a lot of good basics, a lot of foundations, and I follow most of them still, even though I'm not an active member, and I haven't really withdrawn my records. Some people do that. I haven't done that. Or I don't know if I even planned to do this up in the air. But the church taught me a lot of the basics that I hope to continue my whole life, respect other people, love one another, treat everybody with respect, those charity, kindness, all those things still apply to my life, even though I'm not necessarily an active member. They still carved out Cody, they will always have an impact on Cody, no matter, if I stay in or if I just choose to remove my records, whatever it is.
Still you.
That's still me, like people say, they don't, well, now I know you're gay, that changes everything. I'm like, no. All you now know is one more bit of information.
Yeah.
Just like,
this is who I always was. You just now know.
It's similar, like if I were to tell you, oh, my shoe size 11, it's just another trait, but it doesn't change Cody. Yeah. So that's my biggest thing is like, it didn't change who I was inside. It may change, what I do on Sundays, but that doesn't change Cody, I don't think.
Yeah.
I wish people would understand that.
Yeah, I think that's a key point because it really, you are still who you are.
Yep.
And Cody, as you can see, Cody is a joy. He is a joy to be around. He and I love to laugh and talk, and we pretty much can, I feel like we've always been able to talk just about anything. And so I've asked him a lot of those really hard questions over the years. I have someone in my life who is gay that is a family member, an extended family member, and he is dating a younger man that is younger than his oldest child.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yes, remember you telling me this.
And he might watch this, and I hope he knows I'm trying to be respectful because I have struggled with that. And I feel like, and I told him, even if it had been a young woman that age, for me, it wasn't about that he's gay. I knew that. I'd accepted that. I still loved him no matter what. It's the age difference. So in the gay community, is that different?
I would say that the gay community is more sexually charged, if that's a way to say it. We're a lot more okay with sexuality than in the heterosexual community. And I don't know if that's because, the heterosexual community is based in religion, where you're taught to be more conservative. That may be it. But in the gay community,
we're just more quiet about it.
Yeah, it's possible. And I think I think you are right. You are way more quiet about it. Because I've had many straight couple friends who have said that they are either just as frisky or even more frisky than some of my gay friends, and it's contained more. I think they
so
don't
it's
share it as
more
much.
open topic maybe in
Much
that
more.
community. Okay.
Much more open topic, and I think
so age difference doesn't really matter as long as maybe that is still what each person wants. Is that a safe way to put it?
I agree. And I think in the gay and the heterosexual world, I think you have all different flavors of sexual desires and sexual fetishes, all those things. I do think that the gays are just more open about it and more wanting and willing to explore that.
Okay.
So,
and
yeah.
A heads up, I'm actually right now working on finding a friend. I've asked and I haven't gotten a response yet. I do want to get on here and talk about intimacy because I do feel like it is a hush-hush commentary. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Conversation.
Yeah.
But in marriage, it is so healthy and
Yes.
so good and so necessary. And I do think sometimes in the religious realm of things, because I grew up being taught that you don't have sex till marriage. And I am so grateful for that. I love that. I still believe in that. But I think people get told no, 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 no. And then all of a sudden, once you're married, it's yes, 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 yes. And I think sometimes people have a really hard time adjusting to that. So anyways, that's not where we're going to go with this, but that is coming and in the future for one of my lives. But I want to ask you, when you guys had your wedding,
Yes.
What was that like?
Oh, I hated weddings until I had one. Let's be real.
Are you serious?
I did. I'm sorry if I never went to your wedding out there because I thought they were dumb. I really did.
Really?
I thought they was just a big hurrah, a lot of money spent on stupidity. And I'm sorry if I
don't
didn't
know
go.
if I can't blame you on that.
I felt so bad. But now I look back on it after I had my wedding, and I realized what it means to have a wedding and to have that day where that it's yours.
Yeah.
You're focused on making commitments and making lifelong, and if you are married, the couple is forever, but making those commitments and that day to celebrate that meant the world to me. And I didn't think it meant much because I
thought it was all frou-frou.
I thought it was all frou-frou.
And a lot of it is. Let's be honest.
But when Drew and I planned our wedding, we were deliberate as far as making what we wanted. Because I've heard so many bad stories of, well, my mother-in-law, or my father-in-law, they want it. And I said, this is my day.
This is mine.
This is my day.
It's going to be the way
we're going to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And
there wasn't a protocol to follow.
That's true.
I love that.
There wasn't no protocol. There wasn't like, you have to do this in the morning and this in the afternoon, and then nighttime is this, and then It was like, well, we've already broken the protocol of the typical Utah marriage, so we're gonna do whatever we want.
Do it our way. Yeah.
And we did, and we loved it. I loved every minute of that day.
How many years have you been married?
We've now been married 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you probably know, because you're out of the honeymoon phase.
Correct.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is it safe to say most people's is the first year? Mine was not a whole year. I'll be honest. Our first year was rough. It was rough. So, now that you're past that first year and you're in the honeymoon phase, my thing about the wedding is I do love weddings for that reason, because I was that way too. I felt like it was a lot of frou-frou and money spent on things that weren't necessary.
Yeah.
But for me, we had a wedding video done. My cousin did it. I sometimes have to watch it to remind myself why I love my husband. I'm like completely legit. And it's so important, I think, though, to have those memories to draw on that day for me. And I'm sure maybe for you, maybe not. For me, it was a lot of a blur. But there are moments that I remember and I can draw on. When I'm struggling, when we're struggling, I can draw from those and go, oh my gosh, those were amazing moments with us.
I agree. I think, I don't have to go back and draw on the videos per se, but that's one of the things we invested the most. We said, what are their top non-negotiables? And video, pictures, venue were our top 3.
Yeah.
We will not skimp on those because that's what we value the most.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the whole day was so busy, but I loved it.
Yes.
I remember having the first dance with Drew.
Aw.
And
I missed it. My kids had soccer games, and Alan was at work, so I wasn't there.
It was amazing. I remember just being there because you're pulled in so many different directions on your way. People want to talk. They want to talk. They want photos. They want pictures. You want to hear. And I remember just being with just Drew on the dance floor, nobody around us.
Yeah.
And we finally got to talk and explain how much we loved our day and what we loved about it. And it was just like everybody disappeared for 3.5 minutes.
Yes.
And it was glorious, and it was amazing. And also all the people that came out to support us, because it was a gay wedding in Utah. And I don't know if I want to get into this too much, but I had a lot of naysayers, a lot of people that didn't support us and sent me nasty grams saying bad things. I'm not going to say who or what, but
are you for real?
Oh yeah. But that didn't matter, because that day we loved who were there, and my mom and dad were there, and that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
So very much that they were there, and it was a perfect moment. So
I'm so glad.
I loved it.
So speaking of your mom and dad, and we'll just touch on this really briefly.
Yeah.
I was their neighbor for years, and so I know them, love them, good people. But that was a struggle of a relationship for a time. And I was talking to Drew one time, and he said that the hardest part for his mom was that the dream, the idea she had for his future was now a different look to it. And I hadn't thought about that. And that really affected me when he said that, because I'm the kind of mom where we talk about the future. I want my kids to have thoughts and ideas and a plan. And that doesn't have to be what that plan specifically is, but with the idea that life is going to keep moving forward. I know people that I feel like are stuck, and that is not going to be us, not going to be me. So I hadn't really thought about that, in that way, that if my kids think that, okay, I have this plan for them and I'm going to be disappointed I think it should look like this and it looks like that.
I think that goes back to when we started. One of the first questions you asked was, let them know you love them no matter what. I think that applies to this situation too.
Yeah.
And when I got my feelings hurt early on, and people said things, but I had a very smart man. I won't say who, but one of my really good friends, her dad actually gave me some good advice. And he said, don't ever burn a bridge that you may one day need again. Because I was ready to write off some people in my life.
That just gave me goosebumps.
I didn't want to deal with it. But then I thought, no, you may need them, or you may need to walk across that bridge, and you may want that relationship again. So don't burn it completely. Yeah. And I'm glad I didn't, because a lot of those relationships have now healed.
Been reestablished.
They've been reestablished. And someone else once told me, they said, Cody, how long did it take to accept yourself that you were gay? And I said, many years.
That just gave me goosebumps too.
It took me a while to accept that about myself, because I always been thought, nope, there's only one way. And then I had to realize, nope, that's not me. And so they said, well, then how do you expect those around you to accept it in a day? Because it took me a long time. And not because I didn't love myself, but because I've been taught another way,
You've
right?
Been taught different.
I've been
well,
taught
and you grew
completely
up in
straight only was the option.
That was man and wife. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they said, if you took years, how do you expect them to accept you in one day?
That's a good point.
And accept and love are different.
They are.
I fully expected to be loved,
yes.
continue. That should never stop.
Right.
But the actual change in my life, that may take some while for someone to accept. And I said, okay, you have a good point. I need to give some time.
I think that's with anybody. Yep. Gay, not gay, anybody. I think we all have a struggle in trying to accept who we are and love who we are. Mm-hmm. And thank you. Good point. I love that. So what does the future look for you and Drew? What does that look like for you guys? I know you've got a couple of fun things going on right now. You just had a job change.
Yes. So one of the biggest things that Drew and I wanted to do was really work on ourselves. And so I graduated with my master's degree and I got my MBA. Drew just graduated with his MSIS degree, so he's in information systems.
And weren't your schedules pretty opposite?
So opposite.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's been a long time in the works, but now that we're both graduated, Drew's got a job working as a full-time Scrum Master. He loves it. I'm so proud of him.
So proud of him.
So excited, just so proud of him.
Did I tell you he texted me about who was interviewing him? I actually knew.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Drew and I are friends. Good. I love Drew.
And I love that they're friends because Drew's amazing.
Drew's awesome.
Our future, right now we're actually in the process of building a home. We've made an offer on a lot that's been accepted.
Yes!
Yes, super
Are you
excited.
closer to me?
No. We're in West Valley, so, but it's like West Valley. We're in a fun little area. So anyways, so we're out there. We actually are meeting with our builder.
At one point, they were looking closer to me.
We were, but with Drew's job, he'll probably eventually end up in Lehigh, so we need to be further south. So
nice.
We're meeting with the builder on Monday. One of my high school friends, his husband actually, is building the house. So
awesome.
That's exciting. And then if you've actually discussed things like being foster parents or adopting children, because we feel so happy and blessed that we have the means to provide for a family. And there's so many kids that need a place. Yeah. And I would love to be a dad. I love kiddos. I do love kids. I do love kids.
Cody would make a wonderful dad. Drew would too. Drew would too. And so I'm not trying to say he wouldn't, because he would too. But especially Cody is that person that I would trust him with my kids, hands down. Like, you're so I just have always loved him. And he and Drew actually do come over and have dinner with us once in a while. It's been a long time. We're big gamers.
Yes, we love games.
We love games. And so he's taught us a few games and we've taught them a few games. And so but I 100% trust him, even Andrew being around my kids. And that's sometimes I think something people worry about. And for me, it's something that's not been like, they're very respectful about their relationship, and they're my kids know that they're married and together and live together and love one another. And I want that. I want them to know that I still love Cody. We might have different choices of life, directions and paths, or how certain things look. I mean, I'm married to a man, and we might have some differences, but we are dear, dear friends. And I just love that. And I'm so very grateful. I feel like I've been so blessed to know you and to have you a part of my life. I don't even know how, sorry.
It's okay.
I love this guy. So I just want you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Cody and I can answer questions. He's an open book. He's a good man. He's a good man with a good heart, and I am so blessed to know him, and I hope y'all have a great day. And he's now not a live virgin.
This is my first time. Yes.
I know. Yes. When we were talking before we started, he's like, I've never done a live before. And I'm like, what? I said, what did I say? I'm going to de-virginize you with live.
And it's been pretty cool. I want to say one more thing though.
Tell me, yes, please.
Because you were talking about kids, and before I decided to fully just accept who I was attending a group of men in the church who struggled. They call it struggle. I don't struggle anymore. I love it. I love who I am. But they call it struggling with same gender attraction. And they actually would bring in bishops and stake presidents to kind of be in the group, supervise it, kind of see what's going on.
Right. Be a part of those conversations.
And one of the stake presidents there, he asked us a question that kind of goes off what you said. He said, well, I have a question for you men. How do I trust you to be in an interview with a young boy if you were to be a priesthood leader and to be in a room with a young boy and ask questions about, worthiness and going to the temple, And one of the men in the room said, well, President, how are you trusted with young women in your office? And I'll tell you what.
Were you shocked though?
He didn't say anything. He said, he did say one thing. He said, point taken. Because there's sometimes a stigma around gay men that they are promiscuous and make bad choices.
Yeah.
And I promise you that that does happen. I'm not going to deny that.
It does exist. It doesn't mean.
But that's like saying, well, every straight male you come in contact with shouldn't be worthy of being around a young girl. It's you got to learn to step outside of that box and think and apply to both sides of the story.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that was a very eye-opening experience for him that day, but also to me to be like, oh, I didn't even think people thought that way. I had no idea. And it's not just, this is not anything to do with the church, but down the church by any means, because I don't think it was an effective him being a bishop or stake president.
It was probably just his individual.
It was just, individual thought process. But just we're all open to, you just gotta love. I think it all goes back to that and realize that, most of the time everybody just wants the best. They want to love, they want to be accepted, no matter what it is. So
thank you.
Anyway, it was a really crazy story, but we were like, I thought I should share that since you talked
No,
about kids.
thank you. Yes, because I do think there are perceptions out there like that. And my brother Cody and I were actually talking about that today, that we as human beings, I think, like to think we know things based on our perception until we learn and know more. And then it changes that perception. Yep. And then we learn and understand more, and it changes it again. And so I just have felt like here's my reason for asking Cody to do this is because, for one, I love him and care about him, and he means so much to me.
I love him.
But I just think this needs to be an open conversation with people, that we understand that it's all about love. And
exactly,
we're going to have differences. We're all going to have differences, and that's okay. And whether it's this or that or the other, that it really is about that love and kindness, and that doesn't cost us a thing. But no matter our differences, that we can be kind. And so thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Oh, that's cool.